one major discussion that has dominated the NBA space over the last week. It isn't about the #1 overall pick.
Guys, because that's what the nature of crime is. Okay, let me explain to you how that works. If in a class, the class says, oh, the rules are you don't chew gum in this class ever. Okay. Otherwise, you owe us $10. Okay. If I tell you these are the rules right now, if you break them, you're a rule breaker. It's not because we fix the rules. Let's say, guys, you can chew gum in this class. Then I'll go, what about my $10 and my penalty? Well, you wouldn't be a rule breaker now, but you were a rule breaker then. You broke the rules. That's how it works.
It isn't about the outlook of these teams going into next season. It's about a late second-round pick. And for good reason, because his name is LeBron James. And he's going to play in the NBA with LeBron James. It's a weird and unprecedented circumstance that the NBA has never encountered before. A player who many fans consider to be the greatest of all time playing in the NBA with his own son. A story so strange, you'd think the NBA scriptwriters outsourced their work to ChatGPT.
If he had more children, I think he has 2,
71 months.
Imagine if he had more children, a bunch of them, right? All grew big enough to play in the NBA. It gets all on a team, right? Boom, 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 right? They all get paid. They all get even more rich, and then he buys the franchise, and he has the it's the Bronny family squad in his bitch.
The most bad shit result and called it
and
a
they
day.
win the NBA.
But after 2 years of speculation, we now know with certainty that Bronny James will be an NBA player. And right on cue, the criticism of his merits and value as a future player in the NBA have already came pouring in. Scouts and GMs claiming Bronny as a prospect isn't even worth using a late second-round pick on, and that the real value lies in his last name and the leverage it comes with.
Oh, yikes.
But how valuable is a second-round pick, really? And is Bronny a legitimate NBA player, or is he only in conversation solely because of who his dad is?
Who do you want to play?
Bronny is #1.
You owe it to the integrity of the game, and you owe it to the game you love to wait and analyze the result and not pre-fire some dumb shit to impact the result. That is some weak-minded, dumb shit, victim mentality, loser shit. I don't want to hear it. If he doesn't perform, crush him. We haven't seen it yet. We cannot make a call.
One on my list.
I gotta be on the floor with Bronny.
Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek, the MLB's take around app and %. This is Ken Griffey, former major leaguer and 3-time All-Star. This is Ken Griffey Jr., son of Ken Griffey. And in 1990, these two did one of the coolest things a father and son can possibly do. They played in the MLB together. And when I say together, I don't just mean they played in the MLB at the same time. They were on the same team. In fact, they weren't just on the same team, they shared the same outfield with each other. It's probably the rarest and most badass thing you'll ever see in sports. Making it to the big leagues is one thing, but playing in the big leagues next to your kid is a club exclusive to only these two. And if that wasn't incredible enough, on September 14th, 1990, the Griffeys pulled off something that you will never see again in your lifetime.
I'm gonna inch back up there now. Well hit to center field. Devon White going back. Gone! A 2-run home run. And he hits one well to left center field. Dante Bichette. Back-to-back home runs.
What else can these guys do?
The Griffeys were great, and they were the first and only father-son duo in the history of Major League Baseball. But they weren't the first father-son duo in professional sports. This is Gordie Howe, one of the greatest players to ever touch the ice. He won 4 Stanley Cups, 6 MVPs, held the NHL record for total career points at the time of his retirement, and is a member of the NHL's 100th anniversary team. Gordie had an incredible pro career as a hockey player, and yet out of all of his accomplishments, the coolest thing he ever did was this. This is Mark and Marty Howe, Gordie's sons, and he played professional hockey with them in both the WHA and the NHL for 5 seasons. Now, if you're thinking, that guy looks a little old to be playing professional sports, you're right. Gordy began his career in the NHL in 1946 when he was just 18 years old. By the time he retired for good, he was 51.
Dude, what's more impressive that this guy isn't fucking dead from playing with no helmet for that long in a sport like that. That's ridiculous.
Good, he was 51. A career that stretched from the 1940s
The fact he has
to the
more than half his
1980s.
teeth remaining is
and
insane.
Only with a career like this can a player even have a shot
Why?
at playing
Oh, you
in the
don't
league
watch
together
hockey? I
with
know
their
you don't.
son. Why exactly am I talking about home runs and Gordie Howe? Well, because they're awesome, but also because of these two and what they're about to accomplish in their own sport. LeBron and Bronny James, who are on track to being the first father and son duo to play together in the NBA. An idea that seemed far-fetched when LeBron first mentioned it years ago, but has now become a reality.
Hockey's a lot more
But how
technical.
legitimate is Bronny's spot in the league? And is the backlash towards the Lakers selecting him with a second-round pick in the draft warranted? Well, to answer this question, we first need to know just how good Bronny is as a prospect and as an incoming NBA player. Right now, NBADraft.net has Bronny rated at an 88 overall across their 12 prospect metrics. This overall rating puts Bronny on the lower end of all second-round picks and future prospects over the last 3 years, but well within range of your typical mid to late first rounder. Now, here are Bronny's numbers during his one season of college basketball. 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists a game on 47, 30, 69% shooting splits. Now these numbers, especially from a relatively undersized guard, do not scream NBA potential. But for perspective, here are the average collegiate stats from every late second round pick that played college basketball over the last 5 years. And even when compared to late second round picks, Bronny's numbers aren't nearly as impressive. In fact, Bronny is arguably the least productive college prospect in NBA history. Here is a list of every player in the entire history of the NBA to be selected in the first 2 rounds of the draft that averaged less than 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists a game in college. And that's it. Just 3 players who were selected in the NBA draft with college numbers equal to or less than Bronny's college numbers. Pair that with the fact that these prospects had at least the benefit of having NBA frames and physical tools to be potentially built off of.
I mean, 6'8", 6'11", 6'2". He's 6'2". Me and him are par to par.
And the case for Bronny warranting a pick in the NBA draft becomes more and more difficult to make. But to really demonstrate exactly where Bronny falls amongst other second-round picks, here is a chart of demonstrate exactly where Bronny falls amongst other second
He can dunk like that, 6'2".
round picks. Here's a chart of every college basketball player
raining outside,
selected
sorry, it's
in the
louder.
second round of the draft over the last 10 years, with box plus minus on the x-axis and minutes per game on the y-axis. 298 selections spanning 10 drafts. More than half of these players not even in the NBA today. Where's Bronny? He's right here. Most late draft picks, even the guys who go on to not even make a roster in the league, were first or maybe second options in their college program. Bronny, on the other hand, was an undersized rotational player on a sub-500 team. It doesn't take an NBA scout to know that Bronny James's collegiate career wasn't that of your typical second-round draft pick.
Wait.
But how good is the typical second-round
Wait, hold on. Half of the argument is in favor of Ronald in this narrative, no?
hand was an undersized rotational player on a sub-500 team. It doesn't
A rotational player on a bad team. Oh my god, he's not doing a lot of good points. That's crazy. How is that?
take an NBA
How
scout
is that
to know
surprising?
that Bronny James's collegiate career wasn't that of your typical second-round draft pick. But how good is the typical second-round pick? With the rise of second-round sleepers in recent history, most notably players like Nikola Jokic, Jalen Brunson, Herb Jones, and Jordan Clarkson, the potential value of a second-round pick in the NBA draft is about as high as it's ever been. With the help of advanced metrics, the curtain has been pulled back on the value even a solid role player can provide to a winning team. Prospect scouting has gotten more comprehensive than ever before, and these second-round picks have held considerable weight within recent trades around the NBA. But how valuable does that truly make them? gathered from 10 years worth of draft classes from 2013 to 2022, data shows that on average, out of the 30 players drafted in the second round, about 6 of them won't even suit up in the NBA. That's about 1 in every 5 players selected in the second round that will never see a minute of action in the league.
Okay.
Out of the 24 players who do make a roster in their rookie season, about 17 of them end up playing a second season in the NBA. Of those 17 players that are good enough to stick around for more than a few seasons, only about 8 of them will go on to be a role player or rotational level player. Go one step further, and on average, only 4 of these second round picks will become a starting caliber player in their career. That's about 1 in every 8 players selected.
Wait. But him being drafted only means that he's going to be in this pool. Doesn't mean that he's going to be one of these beige spots, right? It doesn't mean that it just means that he's in the pool. Okay, then if he sucks, and it doesn't pan out, then let him write out the program.
Selected in the second round. And finally, of the 298 players selected in the second round of the draft from 2013 to 2022, only 2 of them became All-Stars: Nikola Jokic and Jalen Brunson. If we think about the last 10 years of second round picks on a scale of box plus minus, with Nikola Jokic being on one end and the players who don't even make a roster on the other, then most players aren't in the middle. In fact, they're not even close.
Somewhere between an MVP and out of the league.
Most second round picks fall way down here, somewhere in between what Basketball Reference would classify as an end of the bench player and out of the league. When considering how to use a second round pick, the idea of drafting a guy who ends up being a real contributing player, a starter, or even a future MVP, the perceived opportunity cost can tend to outweigh the actual value of the pick. Drafting a player of this caliber in the second round is like finding a diamond in the rough. But giving away a pick or a potential player that ends up being of this caliber would be a mistake that no front office wants to live with. But that doesn't change the fact that the vast majority of the time, these second round picks in the NBA draft go on to be these end of the bench.
Chat. With all due respect, chat, wouldn't it be kind of a potential risk though, for them to not go in for second round and somebody picks them in third round or some shit like that, and they get him into fucking contract, and then he's away forever, and he never kind of sees that opportunity to play with his dad? I feel like I would be okay taking a risk and having him ride the program, ride the bench, ride the fucking bullshit forever. And if he proves himself, sure, whatever. At least you got him. He's not some fucking contract jail.
Bench level players. Just
no
out of
third round.
curiosity,
Okay, then that's
does
fine.
anyone know who the last few 55th overall picks in the draft were and how their careers are turning out? Last year's 55th overall pick has played 1 game in the NBA. The one before that has played 23 games in 2 seasons. The 55th pick in 2021, Aaron Wiggins, is actually having himself a solid career so far.
You gotta
but
go
the
crazy.
one before him is out of the league. The one before that one is also out of the league. He's also
Let me check his stats. Hold on.
is out of the league. The one before that
Yeah, it's tough.
one is also out of the league. He's also out of the league, out of the league, out of the league, was never in the league, out of the league, and out of the league. As a late second rounder, if Bronny can contribute on any level in the NBA, he has already exceeded his draft value. And that's really the proposition in all of this. It would be incredible if Bronny developed into a Davion Mitchell or Aaron Holiday caliber player. But the reality is, if Bronny can provide any net positive value to his team, then selecting him in the draft will have been a great pick. There has never been a player projected to go this late in the draft with any expectations on what they should or will do in the league. These late draft picks have historically been reserved for players who might have been overlooked, players who maybe underperformed their potential at the collegiate level, players who organizations are willing to roll the dice on because there's virtually no opportunity cost associated with late second round picks.
Also,
it's all upside at this point.
This will come across, chat, as a pretty anti-competitive take, and you guys are not gonna like me for this, okay? But believe it or not, all of this entire show is a business, okay? It's a fucking business. They get numbers on the TV for people to watch, to buy jerseys, get TV deals. It's how they keep the fucking lights on, okay? He'll probably sell a bunch of jerseys regardless, and you get a lot of interest on the team, and overall, you probably get more of it out of this player than some people that are probably on the court playing for them, right? And maybe they'll be able to buy a better player or better down the line. This is just a better move for them as a whole. Other teams are probably mauled they didn't get them. That's how I feel about it.
If they don't work out, well, that's typical. If they do work out, well,
if you guys say that that's nepotism, hey yo, here's a better argument. A lot of the other players, nepotism, because they don't bring enough to the table, right? Their brand is not big enough. They don't go to interviews enough. They don't post on social media enough. They don't bring in enough new fans and interest in the league. They're on that side of nepotism then. They suck ass. I don't give a fuck. I said it, okay? It's both your performance and you as a player. It's important to have both. You want your players to have both. What you want to have is a performer that have a certain personality that you wish to develop, and as it develops, you get to have both. That's hardcore. That's when you get some real shit.
well, then they've beaten the odds. And the very large point being overlooked in all of this talk about potential and value to the team and X's and O's, LeBron James has the opportunity to play basketball with his kid in the NBA. Let's just be honest. This is blatant nepotism, a classic case of it's who you know, not what you know. But nepotism has ran rampant in the NBA for decades, and no one cared. Countless players, coaches, executives, owners who got their shot with far less merit than Bronny has. But now here we are sitting around talking about the integrity of a man who's played 21.
He probably doesn't want to get cooked by fucking by comments and shit and haters. He's doing it like preach to the choir take. It's what he's doing. He's doing a safe play for his video. Dude, blatant nepotism. Dude. If you get a player for what they are worth, a lot of it is off the fucking courts. A lot of a player's value is off the courts. The son of a guy who's iconic to the league, who's literally the face of the fucking league, is extremely valuable regardless. It's not even close to nepotism. That's not what nepotism is. That's his projected value.
Seasons in the league and his son because they made the most of an otherwise paltry.
If you have a corporate, okay, where the guy hires his son, there's no outsider fans of the, oh guys, I love Monsanto's family. The fact that he hired his son, I love that. I'm gonna buy more fucking food from these guys. Dude, that is not like the model of nepotism here doesn't apply here because he has value off the courts.
55th pick in the draft, and the nepotism leaned in their favor this time around. We can criticize this decision all we want, preach about how this move was a breach of ethics, a slap in the face of the game we love. But then we would all be hypocrites, because there isn't a man on earth who would pass up on the chance to play in the NBA with his son, even if it meant pulling a...
Every friend I've ever brought on any Twitch rivals or tournament they're just lucky. Nepotism that I gave him, that I put on my team, because I could have gotten a better player. I could have gotten a pro. I could have hired somebody who's the best at Fall Guys, the best at some shitty fucking video game. They're all blessed by my nefarious nepotism. No, bruh. It's either funny, better content, better overall storyline, good for the stream. I like it. Overall, it's a raw win for the stream. I don't give a fuck. It's not that complicated, bruh.
As much as Bronny benefits from sharing the same last name as arguably the best basketball player of all time, that tag has also came with equal scrutiny. We have never seen a late second round pick get discussed and limelighted like we've seen with Bronny. But we've also never seen a late second round flyer get completely dissected and criticized like this. LeBron and Bronny have a chance to do something that has never been done in the history of the NBA. And that is worth more than any late second round pick will ever be.
That's not a fantastic argument either, but okay. That's just, I don't agree with this, it being, no, I don't agree, sorry. I disagree. Sorry, chat. It meant to disagree with this video. I respect them, though. I respect them.
45 months. Squared. Shared. Squared. Shared. Cat time 2.